guys, and welcome back to the GSL Up and Down matches. It is Group A for the first season of CODES for 2013. I am Wolf, with me is Caldor. We've had basically everybody put something on the scoreboard, but this is just one of 5 now groups of matches for the day. And there's the Hello Kitty again.
Yeah, Hello Kitty is back. And well, we have a Terran versus Protoss coming up next. It's YoDa versus MC. But Wolf, before we start into our next round of games, I have to give 2 quick shout-outs.
Oh man, this is really good.
Yeah, because the last few seasons I was always sitting here, I was having my my notes in front of me and always trying to, on the fly, look at who is going to advance out of the group.
You guys witnessed it, you saw Caldor at work.
If there's going to be a tie situation, what kind of score a player would have to achieve in order to advance, if there might be a certain scenario where he could still tie with someone else, if we could have a 3-way tie. And I had 2 people who created tools that helped me to keep track of the scores and of how the players advance. I want to give a quick shout out to both of them. They are pretty awesome. I never asked them for it, but both of them just came up to me on Twitter and were like, hey, we did something for you, maybe you can use it. One of them is Cem Yüksel. He created a score calculator. And also a quick shout out to Mythandia from fantasycomic.com. He created the virtual Caldor, which is basically the same tool, a little bit different with a few additional features. So a big shout out to both guys. It was really, really awesome. I'm using both of the tools right now, so thank you very, very much.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited looking at these, and now I can see virtual Caldor used by the real Caldor in real time. It's a little bit weird for me, but don't fear, we'll have it all settled. Who is doing what, who is going where. But it's time for YoDa against MC now here. GSL 2013, Season 1 of CODES Up and Downs, casted by Caldor.
Starting to the right side of the map, starting for LGIM, the Protoss player, a Terran player with 1 win already in the GSL Up and Down Group A. It is
LGIM YoDa.
Very favorable map for Terran versus Protoss. Abyssal City, he's got to be feeling good about that.
His opponent, on the other hand, has also a win in the first game. He won against J-Dog, now he's up against this Terran opponent. Starting to the left side, starting for Schuld Commando. It is
SKMC.
Indeed it is.
Well, it's of course not Schuld Commando anymore, it's still SK Gaming. If I say that too often, Alex is gonna get mad at me.
I'm not so sure about this blue, man. I'm not sold if that's blue or not. It almost looks purple to me now.
What?
This is the kind of thing that keeps me up at night. I take screenshots and I'm like looking at them, and I'm trying to figure out if it's the lighting, if it's a different booth that makes a difference. I need some help.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You need some help.
I just need someone to tell me what color that is, you know?
I think you actually need professional help.
Maybe a professional could help me determine which color this is.
This is not even first world problems, this is Wolf's problem.
This is my problem, man. I like the swords that are on there. Is that normal for SK? I didn't notice that before. Some cool swords on that jersey.
I actually don't exactly know what you're talking about, but if I'm not mistaken, that is just the brand of the shirt itself.
Okay, that makes sense.
I might be wrong here.
Uh-oh, this SCV! Uh-oh, what color is he? He's red, now he's dead!
That was a bit unexpected here. That usually should not happen. MC must feel really awesome now. He already has a win in the group. If he is able to take out YoDa here, then he will be 2-0 in Group A. And YoDa losing an early SCV like this is not the best way to start the game. Not at all.
It's a nice poke touch type thing for MC, but his biggest disappointment here is going to be that he doesn't know about the gas. The gas is hidden, he doesn't know about the factory going down. We may see that Hellion with Marine pressure build that basically everybody does in every series in this matchup, at least once. This is a best of 1, so I mean, I guess if you think about it that way, he's going to do it for sure, but usually in every best of 3, you see this build used at least once. It's very difficult for Protoss to stop this pressure with the Nexus.
And talking about difficulties for Protoss players, you already touched on the subject. Abyssal City is a map where it's very difficult for a Protoss player to withstand a... Ooh, wow, that probe nearly with a double kill.
That probe is an assassin.
Definitely is, wow.
SV's thinking twice about going to that watchtower. He's like, I don't know if I should take a stop there.
That's the most bloodthirsty probe that I've ever seen in my life. But it might, no, doesn't die.
Well,
But
we got to keep track of that probe.
coming back to the topic that I was about to discuss with you a bit. This map. Very good for a Terran player, bad for a Protoss. Reasons being the third base is very far away from your main and your natural, so it's hard to defend. And you have a huge surface area, especially in your main base, where a Terran player can drop. And so drop play is really difficult for a Protoss to handle if you have a Terran player that is really good at multitasking.
Oh, great scout here by MC. Sees no command center. Now, here's something that's really important to note, because we talked about the weaknesses of a Protoss, especially in the mid to late game. But one of the strengths that a Protoss player has is there's a ton of surface area to blink into the main base, and that's exactly why we see MC going for this build. But the Hellion is going to see everything. It's an open book. He's reading MC's diary right now, and MC has a crush on this Blink Stalker build. It's really embarrassing, but there's nothing he can do about it now. Everybody knows about it. It's probably going to be on Reddit tomorrow. But
yeah, the problem is that right now what we should see from YoDa, what we might see, doesn't necessarily have to do it, is another bunker in the main base.
Exactly.
He's already going into Marauders, and he knows exactly what the difficulty is right now, what the problem might be. So if MC blinks into the main and tries to follow through with it, and there's the bunker.
Yep, he just knows exactly what to do in this case. If you have the bunker up, all you need to do is get Marauders out and defend. Luckily for YoDa, he made this build where he's going for a safer command center, so he's already got Marauders being produced. He starts Stim. MC is going to want to try to get in there, maybe force a cancel on Stim, but since the command center's not even at the low ground, he's not going to really have much of an angle of approach. His whole basket has just spilled open onto the floor. I mean, what sort of tools can he really use here when he's got a bunker at the ramp, he's got a bunker in the main base, there's no command center to even poke at, there's no way to kill SCVs.
You know what he could have done is try to just get his expansion up now. Because YoDa is really playing this very, very defensive. He knows that if there's going to be an attack, that if he uses his command center in the main base, just uses it for the double SCV production and the mule, that he will be very safe, especially with the extra bunker.
Yeah, that's what he could do.
But if MMC would have identified this and go straight into a natural, he can get a little bit ahead. It's a very bad situation for him regardless, because he was scouted. This is a build that relies on your... Oh my god. That's actually the... Tell me that didn't happen.
That's actually the only thing you have to make sure that you do when you have this build, so you can at least do something, is make sure you don't lose that observer.
Wow, this
That's like
could
trying to
not
climb
be
Mount
worse.
Everest without legs. It's kind of important.
This couldn't be worse for MC now. He loses his observer, he has no high ground vision anymore, he can't blink it in the main base, and this limits his attacks to the choke point at the natural. And this is exactly where he is now with all these stalkers. There's one bunker, that's all that YoDa has. He is repairing immediately. Nice micro so far by MC, but he's losing the shields. There's another bunker on the high ground, and he retreats immediately. This is bad news for MC here.
The observer is about to arrive. He better keep this one alive, or things are going to get dire. He needs the observer to see up onto the high ground.
What is MC doing now? Is he still trying to warp in units? He has 400 minerals. He's not trying to get an expansion. He is warping in. He wants to crush YoDa here. How much does YoDa have? Enough.
It looks like he has plenty enough, especially considering that Stim is about to finish and he's got all... Oh, there goes the observer.
Second observer seen and killed. The bunker is gone though. Stim is ready on the other hand.
Stim being ready, as well as the high Marauder count. It's at 3 right now. The 4th one pops out. MC trying to pick off these depots, but the Stalker hit points are getting lower and lower.
YoDa's a little bit reluctant to move down. One of the reasons being is that he does not really know if there is some kind of a hidden sentry, for example. Then you always move into a concave, which you don't want to do. But if YoDa, or if MC would be sneaky and has a sentry down there at some point, and suddenly YoDa tries to move down, then there could be immediately a force field. But now with the 2 medivacs out, he can move out. There's no problem for him at all.
Yeah, this is just awful for MC at this point. He's got no real opportunities to do anything here. Another observer is going to come in here. This is the one point where he has a chance to blink into the main, but YoDa realizes it. He pulls back. He's going to want to target down that observer again. Very patient play here by YoDa. He's got now almost 4 medivacs out. MC finds a window, and he jumps in here. He will be able to kill the units in the bunker, but that's all he's really going to get. He may lose some stalkers. He loses 1.
Blinks away, force the stim though, and if he can't force enough stims, this is gonna hurt YoDa's army. YoDa is trying to get additional medivacs out, and now he feels that he has enough units, that he has a big enough army to actually take his natural. And MC is also trying to get an Nexus now. But here comes YoDa. Can he fight this? He's trying.
He's got the better army supply and the better composition, especially with these medevacs. I feel like YoDa at this point has a good enough composition where he can almost fight MC's army if he splits his army in half and keeps half of the natural and half of the main, if he has a bunker at both places.
MC can't really blink up here, but will he try?
He's desperate. He sees the count. I think he's going to go for it.
Nice.
He has to now because the Observer almost dies. He takes out these units really cost efficiently. This is one leg up MC can get, but he doesn't really have much of a follow-up here.
He lost a little bit too much. Yeah, he took down a few Marines, but still, this was a fairly even trade. And you are so right. He had to blink up because he was like, well, if he snipes my last Observer that I have, then I have to wait too long. If I want to do damage, I have to take this chance right now. I have to take a risk. And he did. Now we have him moving into the natural again, but YoDa is ready. And what impresses me about YoDa is that he is so meticulous about sniping these Observers. He's doing a great job with them, but look at this. The Stalker's trapped on the high ground. The cooldown for Blink is still active. No way to escape.
Yeah, he gets a medevac, but, you know, the idea was there. Okay, I pick off some medevacs, so that's one of the tech advantages my opponent has over me. I think MC's considering maybe just making a robotic support bay, trying to take out as many units as he can, then using the Colossus follow-up, but he spent too much gas already. Observer is gone. No blink here. He's totally trapped. He's got nowhere to run. He's going to have to try to blink his way all the way home. But YoDa is now actually moving across the map. He knows, okay, have you made another Observer, then I'm not worried about anything. He's actually got half of his army, which is enough to kill MC's army twice. Coming across the map to finish him here. He's got 3 medevacs with this. MC killed the 4th. Factory will go down here, but this means the Stalkers are out of position. With the warping of Stalkers that MC just got, YoDa's actually going to have to wait for the rest of his army.
Yeah, but the big problem really is that we have now a really huge army for YoDa. We have Stim done, we have +1 on its way. MC just has a tech problem. And he is trying to get enough units, get a decent economy now, also to get Marauders into the equation so that he can deal with, sorry, not of course, he gets Immortal so he can deal with the Marauders the other way around. But YoDa is in a great position.
And with
here.
all the healing output, the Immortal's never really going to be able to kill a Marauder that has Stim and the medevac power. He's desperate here. He's got a tech problem, like you said.
There's not a single sentry. He doesn't have a Guardian Shield. He doesn't have force fields. He doesn't have anything.
MC is one of the best micro players in the world, and he's showing it here. But it looks like this is just going to be too much. And when it comes to numbers, YoDa's got them on his side. The healing power here is too much.
The medivacs, all the Marines with the upgrades, with Stim, Combat Shield moving in. The Marauders landing the damage. No Guardian Shield, no force fields to shut YoDa out, and there it is. GG. Game over, and YoDa takes the game. Well played, 2-0 in the group.
YoDa looking like he's seen it so many times before, making it look pretty easy there. And MC losing that first Observer was so critical because that was his big time window. Even before that, though, the Hellion comes into the main base, sees his entire battle plan, and this is something he probably expected because I expected this from MC. I expected to see some sort of either 2 base or 1 base all in because the 3rd base is just out of the question on this map. It's absolutely not acceptable.
MC now being on 1-1 after game number 2. YoDa just a tiny little bit too strong today. And we are, of course, now heading into our next match, which is going to be, let me just double check, it's going to be YoDa versus Vampire, our first PvP.
Yeah, and it will occur on Antigua Shipyard, a pretty dynamic map for this matchup. We have all sorts of builds popular here, even the Creator Sentry build. You've got 3 Stalker Pressure into expand off of 3 gateways, and you even have the
Blink Stalkers,
Blink Stalkers, Phoenixes, everything is possible here.
In the last game, you know, YoDa with all these scans, why is he invited into the lobby again? I think that's definitely a mistake. Yeah, so the scans with the Observers were really, really awesome. That limited MC's options for so long. Every single time you lose one of the Observers, you have to chrono boost another Observer out back home. You need to send them across the map. That's a lot of time that you just lose. And so many times MC was just trying to jump in there. And if MC... There's always this game of information that you have. MC's tech is spotted. And immediately YoDa knows, okay, if I have 2 bases and I try to defend them, if I don't have a bunker on the high ground, then you can really do a lot of damage with the Blink Stalkers. So let's just fly the command center back into the main base, rely on the double mule, on the double SCV production, get a bunker in here. And if MC sees all this, he can just play really, really greedy, get his expansion, don't get any units, and then he will be ahead again. But he doesn't know. And so he's like, well, I'm scouted, but I have to follow through this right now because it's a really difficult situation for me to deal with. Yeah. So it's always this, what do you do next? And it was really well done by YoDa. In this particular scenario, it worked out so well for him that he played it defensive, and he was
he never overextended himself. He never went and said, I think I can attack now, and gave an MC an opportunity to counterattack and catch him off guard. He kept his commands there, first of all, in the main. Very careful, Hellion. And he switched things up when he saw what was going on. He was like, all right, just going into Marauders, making my bunker in the main.
Cold Stalkers when they blinked up and were in cooldown, so really well played. And MC really nearly making it work, but it was just not enough. And then
imagine, I mean, if you consider how well he did with everything stacked against him, how good could that have been?
In the end,
against a one Rax expand.
He didn't have the tech.
Yeah.
If you're up against this many Marines, against this many heavily upgraded bio units, Marine Marauders and Medivac, you need either Storm or you need at least a few Colossi out there to do something. Even if you don't have them, force fields, but he couldn't really invest the gas. He didn't have a Guardian Shield. Everything was stacked against him. YoDa takes the game, is 2-0 in the group, and now we are heading into the first Protoss versus Protoss of the day. To the left side, we have Yonghwa. He lost his first game today, and so did Vampire.
This is... I mean, this is not the same format as Codes groups, but I mean, this is basically our losers match here. Yonghwa versus Vampire, two losing players. Two Protosses clashing against each other in a Protoss versus Protoss. We talked about it briefly before, but Protoss making up by far the weakest distribution currently of Codes with only 2 players. Both these players trying to change that today. Get out of the group. And if you're tuning in a little bit late, remember, top 3 players get something today. Third place players will actually get a spot in that wildcard group on Friday.
Exactly. We have a slight change in the format. We'll talk about this again in just a second, because now we are jumping into the game. We have the Protoss mirror match at the Up and Downs Group A. We have Yonghwa up against Vampire at the GSL with Carl and Wolf.